Hey, what's up, sports bettors? Alex here, and I'm literally shocked I haven't done this video yet. So what we're gonna do is explain all of the features on OddsJam. There are probably 10 hidden features that you didn't even know about, and a lot of them are free. So we are going to be talking about OddsJam, a full tour of the product. Everything was done with the sports bettor in mind to help you make money. So all I want to do is share all the features so you know they exist and you know how to use them. So we'll dive in now. I really hope you find this video helpful and you stay till the end.
So we can start out with OddsJam's most basic feature, and it's also free. It is odds comparison. You want to compare odds between different sports books. Now I will note this takes into account your current location. So let's say you're traveling, you're in Canada, you're a Canadian sports bettor. You can see the best odds change. The best price in Canada on Kansas State is minus 455 on Casumo. So I'll go back here, and we can see the best prices are on Caesars for Kansas State and on LSU on Twin Spires. Now, what you can also do that you may not have known is you can filter by league, right? I can filter by NFL if I want to. Let's say there's some sports betting promo on DraftKings. You can only bet on NFL games. You can click on the NFL and see the best odds just for NFL games. So Broncos, the best price is plus 400 on Superbook. Now what this number is it's the VIG, or the house edge, or the market hold. So basically, if you were to place wagers on both the Broncos plus 400 and the Chiefs minus 450, you would be losing 1.82% of your money. Now, if you want to see more odds in this particular game, you just click in. Again, this is 100% free. You can see all of the different sports books available in your location, right? So the best price on the Chiefs is highlighted in yellow. It's minus 450. Now we can go to point spread, for example, and we can look at point spread, right? Now, one thing you may not have known about OddsJam is we highlight for you what are the mainline markets and what are the alternate markets. So a lot of sports books, they'll have the main line, which is typically around minus 110, and they'll have an alternate market, right? Like on DraftKings, you can see right here, on DraftKings, if you want to, you can bet on the Broncos -1 plus 385, but that is not the main point spread. That is an alternate market. So what we can do is we can click on a bet if we want to add it to our bet tracker. So let's say we want to be on the Chiefs minus 105 on Betfred. We can enter a stake $100 or $1,000, $100, and then you can hit save to add this to your bet tracker. So your bet tracker will track profit and loss as well as your CLV. So we'll go through that in a second, but here is just odds comparison. So you can filter by league, you can filter by sport, and you can also click into games to see the best prices. All of the best prices are highlighted in yellow. So that's the first feature. Next, let's talk about content. You're getting started with OddsJam, check out the Getting Started guide. It's very long, it describes all the tools, it describes what line shopping is. Of course, as a sports bettor, you want to get the best possible price. It describes our bet tracker. Now, it also, we have a blog, right? Tons of content available, similar to our YouTube. You want to learn about DraftKings, you can just search DraftKings, and you can see we have tons of articles on DraftKings. What's an odds boost? What's a free bet? What are the different types of NFL promos on DraftKings? Now, what we have next is our bet tracker. So we'll click into our bet tracker, and what you can see is I can see the date my bet was created, the sports book, the event, and I can, edit my bet. I can do whatever I want with it. And it also shows you your potential payout. Now, why people love our bet trackers, it helps you track your profit and loss as a sports bettor. You need to be a profitable sports bettor, you need to be tracking your bets and know where you're making money, where you're losing money. If you lose $5,000 betting on baseball, why are you betting on baseball this next season? You have to know this data. As a sports bettor, you're winning bets maybe 45 to 55% of the time. It's very hard to know if you're actually profitable or not unless you're tracking your wagers. So here we have OddsJam's bet tracker. This is 100% free. Just sign up for an account. You don't have to pay for anything. 100% free to track your bets on OddsJam. Now what's interesting is there's a little column here called CLV, which will show you how your bet is performing versus the closing line from Pinnacle, the sharpest sports book in the world. So for example, let's say we place our bet at minus 105, the line closes minus 115. Well, we got a great bet. We got minus 105 odds and the line closed minus 115. That's a bet that we're happy with. So here's the bet tracker. You can also track deposits and withdrawals between sports books just so you have a sense of where your money is. Then we have a ton of calculators. right? So let's say the Kelly calculator, Kelly multiplier of 1 is standard. Let's say I'm betting something at plus 100 odds. I believe I'm winning this bet 52.5% of the time. I should be putting 5% of my bankroll on this wager. So next we have the betting tools, which we've discussed in tons of other videos. You can turn on and off live bets. There's a little question button if you want to learn more about the particular tool. So here we can see plus EV, right? If you want to see the low holds page, you can click on low holds. Now, one hidden feature, which you probably don't know about on OddsJam, is free bet conversion. So you can see there's a tab called conversion percentage. So if you want to convert your free bets into cash, you can filter by a particular sports book. Let's say we'll go with Fox Bet in this example. So we'll filter by Fox Bet. We'll let that load, and then we can see the best free betting opportunities on Fox Bet. So, Halliburton over 7.5 rebounds is plus 1,000 odds on Fox Bet. His unders minus 900 on FanDuel. You can turn your free bet directly into cash if you want to hedge, right here. So I can turn a $100 free bet directly into $100 of cash by hedging on FanDuel. So you can kind of play around with this tool. If you have a deposit bonus, you can filter by hold. So let's say you have to bet $500 on a particular sports book. You can filter by the hold of a market, and as is seen right here, this will show you close market. So if I bet $10 on Halliburton over 7.5 rebounds and $100 on under 7.5, I won't have any loss of money. You're just essentially transferring money between sportsbook accounts. One bet will lose, one bet will win. These are equal and opposite. You're just betting through a deposit bonus. So that is filtering by hold percentage. Now I will note, similar to how we just showed you could add a bet to your bet tracker, you can also add a bet to your bet tracker. We'll turn off live odds by clicking on this button. So for example, if I want to place a bet on Halliburton over 0.5 blocks, man, this guy's name is showing up everywhere. We can click on him. We want to put $50 on Caesar Sportsbook, enter amount staked, $50, save it. It'll add to your bet tracker so you can track your profit and loss, as well as see how you're performing versus the closing line. And this goes for every single betting tool. So you can go to low hold, you can add both of these to your bet tracker, right? So if you're working through a deposit bonus, you place a bet. We make it very easy for you to track your wagers. Now, I also will note all of these, tabs, all of these tabs under betting tools, they also have calculators, right? So if you click on this, you can see this just shows you the Kelly criterion, what is an optimal fraction of your bankroll to bet. So according to Kelly, betting on player blocks, Halliburton over 0.5 plus 120 odds, you should put 8.7% of your bankroll on it. So that's kind of the plus EV page. And again, this number right here is just your edge over the sportsbook, right? So we can see Halliburton over 0.5 blocks is 10.44% edge or profit margin over the zero vig line from Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world. So your bet has a profit margin, an expected profit margin of 10.44%. Of course, your bet can still lose, but this is your expected edge as a sports bettor, your edge. So this is the plus EV page. And again, play around with the calculators, stuff like that. Once you actually place a bet, it will show up as green, right? So you can see right here, if I add a bet to my bet tracker, OddsJam will show you that you already placed this bet by changing this plus sign to a green check mark. And it's not like you can't bet it again. If you wanted to bet more on it and it gets a little better, you can just hit the green check mark and add this to your bet tracker again. So that's that, which is pretty cool. So we went over betting tools, bet tracker, calculator, so many tools out there. So expected value calculator, Kelly calculator. Now what we'll talk about is settings. So if I go to my profile, you can see you can change around your default state. You can exclude sports. You can exclude sports books. You just type something in. You want to exclude, frickin' boxing, because who wants to bet on guys who are fighting? I mean, sure, you can filter out boxing. You can filter out whatever sports that you want to. You can change around your email address, your name, whatever. Then we have all of the features you can kind of set up for the different betting tools. So for example, for the bet tracker, if you want to get notified if your bet becomes bad to the closing line, you want to get an email alert, you can turn on CLV notifications and click Save Changes. So what that means is, I'll go back to my bet tracker right here, is we have $100 on Chiefs -10, -105 odds on Betfred Sportsbook. So let's say, whatever, Mahomes is injured, lines rip back towards the Broncos, and now Kansas City Chiefs -10 is a terrible bet because you can get Chiefs -6 at -105 odds. What OddsJam will do is it will send you an email alert whenever your bet gets bad to the 0 vig closing line from Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world, so you can try to cash out your bet if you still can. You aren't always able to cash out bets on sportsbooks, but this is often a good indication of, hey, this line moved against you, maybe you should go cash it out. And again, not all sportsbooks are going to allow you to cash out all of your wagers, but sometimes they do. So this is really helpful, because if the line drastically moves against the Chiefs, I get an email alert from OddsJam, hey, this bet you tracked on Betfred is no longer good. I can try to go to Betfred and cash out because now my bet isn't good anymore. So that is a cool feature of the bet tracker. And then also, we just have a ton of settings, right? If you want to see player props, do you want to see player props? Do you not want to? Do you want to receive email alerts for positive EV betting, notifications? What do you want the maximum or minimum percentage to be? You can input your default bankroll. So Kelly calculator settings right here, you can input your default bankroll. So you can play around with things. Maybe you don't want to bet on odds, that are above +900 for some reason, because then you're losing, the majority of the time at such long odds, and you don't like that. You can put in, you only want to place bets with, a maximum odds of +200. You can do all sorts of things, and you can kind of change this number around to what you want. So I set it to 400. So now if we go to the plus EV page, I'll turn off live bets. You can see we're seeing lines for +325, like Golden Knights -2 seems like a pretty good line at +325. But what is interesting is if I go in now and I want to change this, to like 200, we won't see that bet pop up on the plus EV page anymore, which you can see right here. So you can filter around the maximum odds that you're seeing on these betting tools. So I'll go back here to my profile, positive EV. You can add in your bankroll. You can decide if you want to see player props or not. So we saw a few player props on there. I'll turn off player props. We'll go back to the plus EV page. You can see now no props, right? I just turned off player props. It's really up to you. You can change around all of these things. So I'll go to positive EV again. You can set up notifications and minimum percentages for getting notified via email. You can do the same thing for middles, for ARBs, for all these things. So we really tried to build OddsJam in a way that helps you fully customize the platform, makes it really easy for you to set up the notifications you want for the bets that you want to place. And of course, we want all of your bets as an OddsJam user to be profitable. So I hope you found that helpful. Any questions you have about OddsJam, anything at all, you can reach out to us. And again, some of the hidden features of OddsJam, the main things I'd like to highlight are this bet tracker, the CLV notifications. If your bet becomes bad, you should be getting a notification. Turn this feature on, as well as just how many things you can customize in your settings right here, as well as just, being able to filter by league and stuff like that on the odds screen. So I hope you found this video helpful. Check out our blog, check out some of our great content, and any questions you have about sports betting, as always, you can reach out to us. We appreciate it.